live for 3 minutes.
Brian, your skin popping today, boy.
Papa Tui.
It's perfect.
He rubbed it all on his forehead.
So you guys are busy working with the red light, and then as soon as I hit the red light, it's not me though.
It's always
It's not
you.
me with the, it's not me.
Always you. Always you.
But we to celebrate Brother Hugh returning to the show. He was on his yacht with all his famous celebrity friends. How is Shaquille O'Neal and Alex Rodriguez, Serena Williams, and the guy that played on Boy Meets World? How's everybody doing?
That's crazy. Everybody's
cool.
good except Alex Rodriguez.
What's your favorite player ever?
Don't disrespect me.
I'm just saying though. He got a lot of credit for being on the team that King Griffey Jr. was on as well. But it doesn't matter because it is officially a Wednesday. And if you have been living under a rock, you must know that Wednesdays are reserved for the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Now, gentlemen, we are just a month away from SummerSlam. And we have just wrapped up with Night of Champions. We have a brand new King and Queen of the Ring. And tonight's show, we are going to talk about Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is officially the 2025 King of the Ring. But I have a question for you, brothers, and for the rest of the world. Cody Rhodes is the King of the Ring, but at what cost? Huh? Was this the right decision? Was it the wrong decision? We're going to find out, and we're going to review the rest of Night of Champions and more. You know why? Because I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MCs, you call me sire to burn my kingdom. You must use fire. I won't stop rocking through. I'll retire. Now let's get it. Okay.
Wow.
I said, let's get it. There we go. Okay. Is it going to play? No, that's cool. Hold on.
Take 3.
Nope.
You get no intro.
Nope. It's cool. Hold on. Okay, but it's not going. Wait, there it is. Is it playing? That's the intro.
Have a problem.
Yes!
Wrestling Realm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, I'm your host, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen, in the building, and he is your host, Mr. Super Producer, the Hugh, back from his has a third. It's a T3 to the other D is in tonight, and he is your host, not just the guy, but brother guy, belt guy, Brandon the guy is in the building, and he is your host, fresh off the road, Mr. Not Mr. WrestleMania, Mr. Wrestling Realm himself, the founder, the creator, the man that discovered us all, the man, the myth, the legend, and 2025, because he will still steal your show. Brian H. Waters in the building. How many people have you put out of business yet this time, Turner?
God,
anyway,
wow, that's crazy.
Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Oh boy, do you guys like that? It's nice little heel work. It's because I think we're on the verge of some heel work, but we'll get to that later. But again, yeah, trust me. Wait till you hear the conversation for today, Brother Hugh. Welcome back, Brother Hugh. How was Miami? I know you were in the sun, hanging out with your celebrity friends. People don't know that's the type of life that you live, but you live a private life, and I appreciate that. When brother guy's away, he's on his mission trip, but you like, I'm not coming this week, bro. Like, what you mean? I'm going to hang with my celebrity friends in Miami on my yacht, I'm like, okay, cool. Do you think, brother? I know everybody needs time to get away. So how was the sun in Miami? I know it didn't rain too much, but how was everything?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
No good.
You know, I was trying to get some
Did
gator
you-
bites, but I couldn't get any. I was a little upset
Okay,
about that,
had some-
but
Some champagne caviar on your yacht.
Right.
SS Minnow Johnston.
Yo, hold up. I gotta share this thought. Yo,
oh boy, here we go.
y'all follow Phil Lewis? Phil underscore
Name
Lewis.
sounds familiar, but it's not ringing.
I'm
a
gonna
bell.
tell you why it
Who's Phil
sounds
Lewis?
familiar to you. I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
why it sounds familiar to you. So he's actually, as everybody would say, the culture's news person. The reason why it sounds familiar
Uh-oh.
to you, you remember that group chat we was a part of in 2015, and where all the black journalists came together. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about
Think
the group
back-
or the?
No,
Uh-oh.
it was group me, not the NABJ one. But
Got
remember when?
Yes.
You remember when
Fresh off the
Drake?
convention.
No, the next year. Remember when Drake and
Okay.
Meek Mill was beefing, and the one
Oh,
dude
yeah,
in there.
indeed.
Yeah, so Phil Lewis was in that group chat, but since then he
Mhm.
done blew up and became like he's always the person tweeting out news. So I'm laughing because Keeks just tweeted like, "Yo, he really is our news person," but he tweeted about LeBron and Ayton, and he just tweeted regular. He was like, people said like, "Yo, we actually laugh because." He's actually tweeting regular as opposed to just updating us with news. And the reason why I thought it was funny, just it caught me off guard, first of all, because I'm looking through keeping the attack, what's going on in wrestling. And the fact that Keek said it, and I was like, oh, snap, this is when Realness was actually a journalist. Where you decided to kick the business to the
Bring up my journalism days. You know what? Crazy. Some of those attributes from my journalism days, they still kick in. Those storytelling skills are still applying to the craft. But yeah, I couldn't do it. Listen, people, they wanted me to wear suits and sit in newsrooms and scenes and play. Listen, I love sneakers and designing fashion and
Nice,
like wrestling.
Yo.
So
Greensboro almost
There's
had you.
that.
Hey, that's crazy.
Greensboro had me think twice. Like anytime you have 2 weeks before graduation, you trying to figure out, bro, what we got to do to transfer.
Mhm.
It's nothing for us to do. Like bro, we graduate in 2 weeks. It's nothing for us to do. But that's what country air will do to you. So, but like I said, we are here and we are doing what we do
Yeah,
best.
it's the best.
Every Wednesday we come together and we have these conversations because the people need our perspective. We show them 1, how to have fun. 2, we like to educate them. And 3, we got to talk about everything that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. It's just what we do. It is what it is. But we are here. Now, this is the part of the show where we usually talk about championship culture. So without further ado, let's make a little bit of noise. It's because there was no show this week, but there are some things that we have to talk about. So if you're not familiar with this sound, please get familiar with it because you know every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Championship Culture shows up, it lays the smackdown, and then we talk about it on Wednesday. So buckle your seatbelts. This. Trust me. Watch where I'm going with this. Okay. There it is. Okay. Is it playing or not? No. Okay.
Realness with the
And
voice
there we
over.
go.
Yeah,
I'm
so
telling
it's
you.
playing. But when you talk, because your internet right now is
It is not agreeing with me. So if I listen, fellas, if it takes me out, just carry on.
as we say,
Don't-
as the kids say, if you fall off the wagon, I'll drive.
Fellas, don't wait for me. Save yourselves. Finish the show. It's more of you than it's me.
Last week it happened at the very end. I was like, oh, well, Realness not going to sign
Yeah.
off.
We,
Yeah,
we
just-
got all the way
let's
to
go.
the end.
To the very end.
So last week on Championship Culture, we had a little bit of a switcheroo. We had to switch some time slots because we had some scheduling things. We were trying to work some things out. And we had a very special time for Championship Culture to host this show, which was at 10:30 today on a Wednesday versus last week when we did our Restaurant Now podcast on a Tuesday at the 8 p.m. time slot, where usually Championship Culture was there. But If you want to go back and watch that episode of Championship Culture, don't forget every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm playlist Championship Culture. That's where you can find it. Now, on the latest show of Championship Culture, yours truly, The Realness, I showed up to cause some problems as usual. I showed up to make some noise, and I showed up to be as disruptive as I could possibly can in one show. And myself and Brother Guy had a back and forth conversation about what lineage, what legacy holds a stronger connection to the world of pro wrestling in the endless debate / argument / conversation about the United States Championship versus the WWE's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I must say, I think Brother Guy brought a lot of things to the table, but I do believe, and I'm saying on some record in front of everybody, that he cheated. It's because he had at least 3 organizations worth of lineage and legacy to discuss versus I had 1. Now, I think I held my ground. But, Brother Guy, if this is a conversation that we had to bring to the forefront for people that may have missed it and want to go back and listen and watch to that show, what can you tell us about some of the discussions, some of the things that we got into as far as last week's episode of Championship Culture, and which legacy holds stronger, the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship? Talk to the people.
Oh, my brother testify. We had a 4-round knockout, drag-out conversation. It started off real back and forth, right? Because we talked about the look, how it's presented. We talked about some matches and some reigns. We've even talked about the legacy and the impact. But I think the thing that got us the most is that when we decided to talk about which one is our favorite, but which one holds the most weight. So if you want to see a real deep conversation, and I'm holding up the most current version of this belt for a reason, but I will say this. I think it was definitely opened up some eyes, definitely had people thinking of some things differently, and we brought some spotlight to 2 of the biggest mid-card titles that has shaped our industry. Because let's call it what it is. There are people that, can't complete their wrestling history without holding 1 or 2, or even both of them. Because we see people going after either one to complete their legacy. So they got to have some weight to them. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So my question to you, Brother Guy, Brother Hugh, how do you guys feel about the argument often made between the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship? Now, Brother Guy's correct. We had a knockout, drag out of just a debate that came to the ultimate blows of debate. Like it was on a different level. Now, it was an interesting twist as we got in around 3 and 4. First, that round 1 and 2 was exactly what he said it was. It was one of those conversations where, hey, it was almost a history lesson between what carries more weight. Did the companies have a say-so, or was it about the superstar? Was the look that made the difference, or was the way it was used that made a difference? All these conversations was brought to the forefront. But the question is, as a wrestling fan, now, Brian H., you had chimed in. You said, listen, I grew up on the Intercontinental Championship, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you also saw that United States Championship, like I said, it went through 3 companies. Does the United States Championship have an edge over the Intercontinental Championship because it's been 3 companies, or does the Intercontinental Championship hold a certain weight because it's been a mainstay in 1 company versus being passed around to 3?
It's the latter.
Do tell.
Because when you think about the Intercontinental Championship, it was, to me, never a chance where it felt like it was a belt that sat on the shelf. I think about
that's not true. You know it.
Nah, what I mean, not sat on the shelf. Like when John Moxley had it, it felt like he was just okay. John Moxley, Ambrose, when he went that whole time.
What about the Godfather? That era, our childhood.
What do you mean? When he was the Intercontinental, he was over.
Right.
When Val Venus and them held it and Road Dogg.
Come on now.
That's what I'm asking. That was our era. That's all I'm saying.
That was our era. And granted, it wasn't at that time a traditional workhorse title. I'm not gonna say it was a traditional workhorse title, but it was still like you was interested in that match. You was interested in it because of the fact, okay, it made them feel like a bigger deal. The title made them a little bit more important than just gimmicks, where sometimes it felt like the US title, it was just an afterthought. Now, did the Intercontinental title feel like an afterthought here and there? Sure, maybe, but they always found a way to kind of round it back. That's the reason why I would always say, like, you know, at the end of the day, they was going to protect that Intercontinental title before that U.S. title.
Ooh, that's a good point. I like that. Now, did it change once the United States Championship got to the WWE? Because Brother Guy tried to pull that one out the hat.
What you mean? All right, well, he's frozen, and you know, and Brandon, I guess, is going to come off mute. Brother Hugh is left.
Yeah, I think he's. So I think what he's trying to ask is that because when the Intercontinental title, it's been there, right? And I'm gonna address that comment because I want to hear what you're gonna say. It didn't get passed through companies; it evolved through 3 companies. Let's get that straight.
Oh
but
no,
when
it
the
did
Intercontinental
not.
title, when the Intercontinental title was there, the U.S. title was introduced. Did it feel like that was put on the back burner, or do you think it was showcased in a different manner?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because it felt like they had to. It was first they had to clean it up because Booker T brought it over, and you know it was kind of a swinging contest. Let's call it for what it is, right? Like, oh nah, we gotta get this belt off of him. We're gonna put that on Kurt Angle, and then we're gonna put the world title on the Rock. Booker T really could have held that championship a little bit longer, but then again, you can't hardly really complain because he was main eventing SummerSlam, his first SummerSlam, right? And then he was in a prominent match with The Rock at Unforgiven. But after a while, you know, when they merged the titles, I believe it was, I gotta go back and look, because I want to say it was like Test and no, he might have been a European championship.
No, it was Test and Edge.
Test and Edge, right? And Edge won, if I'm not mistaken. And Edge was the Intercontinental champion. So it just felt like they was going to make sure that title was going to be, you know, a little bit more superior. And that's the way I always felt. Even when they did the dumb thing where they, you know, kind of shelved the Intercontinental championship for a little bit when Kane and Triple H had wrestled. But the Intercontinental title always felt like, you know, and you know when John Cena said, you look at this title as the demotion, they would have never even let that bar get across for the Intercontinental title. That's what I mean.
Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a delay? Is it a slight delay?
Clap.
Clap. You said no?
I said clap.
He said clap.
Yeah.
It's a delay.
Okay.
And you're moving like this on my screen.
Yeah. That's it looked that way. So it is okay. But yeah, so like I said, I think I can hear the delay in my ears, so I'll just keep going. So with that being said, thank you, Brian H, for breaking that down. Brother Hugh, my question to you is, how did you feel about the United States Championship versus the Intercontinental Championship? Uh-oh, we lost you. Now we can't hear you. There's a lot going on tonight.
It is. It's all.
Who said McMahon?
And nobody.
Nobody
said
can
hear you. Hugh, we can hear you. Nothing. We got nothing. He was breaking it down. See, did you see him? We can't hear him.
Nah, he was.
Let me say what
he was about to go in.
I know what Hugh said. He said, "Listen, remember, the Intercontinental didn't have a tip. The U.S. title didn't either. So neither one made sense because the strap mattered on both of them. It wasn't until the new version when they gave it a tip. That's when it really mattered. That's when we need to break it down. And then Dolph Ziggler had his long hair, and that's when he really made him pay attention to both titles. All about Dolph Ziggler. Kane, only out the Intercontinental, never U.S. Tragedy. Can't believe it. He didn't hold it. Because Kane should have held that United States title. But back to you, Realness. That's what he said. Then he got cut off.
No, that makes absolutely perfect sense. I can definitely hear him saying that. But yeah, but like I said, before we get jammed up even more, if you want to go back and watch that show, definitely go back and watch Championship Culture, the United States Championship versus the Intercontinental Championship on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm. Playlist Championship Culture. And don't forget, you can catch Championship Culture every Tuesday 8 p.m. with Brandon, the guy, the Belt King and super producer, has a third as they dive into everything championship culture related in pro wrestling. So yeah, there you have it. Now, gentlemen, I'd be remiss if I didn't take the time to wish a very, very special happy birthday to Bret the Hitman Hart. Everybody's favorite at some point, but we would not be here without the pink and black attack because Bret Hart always showed up to the projects with that championship belt. I remember that segment on Livewire, and I can't believe it. Look at Bret Hart showing up to the projects. All these black kids hold the belt. So definitely, he was always one of our personal favorites. So I just want to say a quick happy birthday to my favorite, Bret the Hitman Hart. I believe he's turning 68 today. So happy birthday to the Hitman. There you have it.
I did not know Conan showed him how to do the what you call it, Scorpion Deathlock. He told the story.
Excuse
I
you?
know that.
The what?
That's what he called it, the Scorpion Deathlock, before him and Vince McMahon renamed it. Go watch the interview.
No, we gonna call that the Sharpshooter.
No, the
Wow.
only reason I'm saying it, he called it the Scorpion. These are Bret Hart words, not mine. He said Conan taught him the Scorpion Deathlock. I said, oh. And he was going to call it that, and then Vince McMahon gave him that name. He said, okay, we'll roll with it.
Okay. If Bret Hart, well, I remember that was the longest debate. Like, who had it first? Was it Sting or was it Bret Hart?
It
Ah,
was
you
definitely
triggered
Sting.
me. You just
It was
triggered
it was because he said Conan. I didn't know that Conan taught him. I was like, oh, okay.
See, Go ahead. What'd you say, Brian H?
I'm gonna tell you, you just triggered me because I just finished listening to the NWO book. Shout out to Mark Romaldi. It just took me back to Sting and Bret Hart, a match the ball was dropped. This ain't unpopular opinion week.
You was about to drop a bomb one year.
Mm-hmm.
About to drop a bomb.
Can I do it?
Go ahead. Just let it rip. You already went there.
If it was done right, Hogan and Nash would have been bigger than Sting and Hogan.
Yeah, but ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Kevin Nash is too lazy to do a 4-year build-up. Kevin Nash was in cruise control by the time he got to WCW.
Man, how much?
I don't
think
think
making money off this. Where's the money at for?
Right.
No, we gotta get the cash.
Well,
where's the money?
How much
Where's
money
the
we set
payoff?
to make?
Right.
Where's the payoff?
Exactly.
In the words, look, I'm trying to tell you, the way that build-up could have been when they started, you take the real life heat. If Vince McMahon was in charge, that would have been the biggest match.
That'd have been a WrestleMania match, Hulkamania versus Kevin Nash, but Kevin Nash was not that
NWO
patient.
red and white, NWO black, NWO red and black, NWO red, white and black. Man, shout out to Vaughn. He in the chat. Who else in the chat? T. Hayes, Big Brother Jermaine. He's out there making red beans and rice with his hat on. Shout out to A.O. Baker. I can't think. I don't have a picture up, but yeah, shout out to the homies and the fellas and the family in the chat. But I was sitting there listening to the book on the ride back, and I was like, that match would have been bigger. Now, man, Sting and Hogan, the build-up was great. Just whatever.
Now say it. Your boy was being your boy. Hogan was being Hogan.
Even though Hogan was being Hogan. It comes down to the kick out that didn't happen. That's what ruined it.
No, that's